For the 2023-2024 undergraduate admissions cycle, University of Georgia has introduced a new essay prompt that applicants are requested to respond to in roughly 300 words or so. Here is the prompt. The transition from middle to high school is a key time for students as they reach new levels of both academic and personal discovery. Please share a book, novel, nonfiction, etc., that had a serious impact on you during this time. Please focus more on why this book made an impact on you and less on the plot/theme of the book itself. We are not looking for a book report. Again, you as a first-year applicant are asked to respond to that in about 300 words. It is a curious question or prompt in the sense that many of my high school seniors don't know what happened to them yesterday, let alone 3 or 4 years ago. But the University of Georgia is asking for students to recount the meaning from a book, assuming students read a book, during the time period of that student's transition from middle school to high school. Hopefully you, if you're applying to University of Georgia, read a book during that time period or have read a book at some point in your life and or can say maybe you read that book during that time period and can therefore build an essay around a book that has had meaning to you. Why University of Georgia is particularly focused on the transition from middle school to high school is, again, very curious because many students change a great deal from 8th, 9th grade all the way up to when they apply to college in 12th grade, and you only have 300 words to write about this. So this particular question is I think, unnecessarily complex, frankly, and therefore they're almost meaningless in terms of the answer for the University of Georgia, but I don't make the rules, I just play the game. So how are you going to tackle this? Basically, I would recommend that you build this like a little mini essay. You should have an introduction sentence or two. One of those sentences should be a thesis statement. Then you should have a body paragraph or so that supports that introduction/thesis statement. And then you should have a sentence or two conclusion that doesn't just restate the thesis, but states something new and reflective and thoughtful that leaves the reader, frankly, wanting more and liking you more than ever before. So what book you write this on, of course, that's a very personal choice, but as the prompt indicated, you should not be spending more than a sentence or two, really, in the body, describing the book and its plot. Instead, the focus of this essay needs to be on you and how this book changed your trajectory in life, your value system, how you saw yourself interacting with others in the world, your character in some way, shape, or form. Again, you only have 300 words, so even if a book was extremely impactful to you, almost if it was extremely impactful to you, that almost be the wrong book to write about, because if you have too much to say about one book, you're not going to be able to fit in the 300 words. So if a book was very impactful for you, focus on just one strand of why it was impactful for you and do a great job elaborating on that one element of impact. Otherwise, you may just want to pick a book that was less impactful for you if there was a very simple, cut and dry impact on you. And again, your trajectory has somehow been changed as a result of that book. So maybe you pick a book, for instance, that made you realize that doctors have an immense amount of power and you are now motivated to be a doctor because you want to empower people to live their healthiest, happiest life. Now, that sounds good. You would quickly describe what that book had to do with being a doctor or what it described with doctors. The introduction would basically say, I learned that I want to pursue a degree in medicine as a result of a book I read the summer before 9th grade. And the body goes on to introduce the book and explain how that book made you really motivated and inspired to be a doctor. And then the conclusion would say something new or two to again sort of wrap it up in a nice clean bow, but again leave them wanting more and liking you more than ever before. So that's how I would approach it. Pretty cut and dry, simple response approach to what is, I think, an unnecessarily wordy prompt that also requires a student to sort of intentionally almost be not fully transparent or fully truthful, because many students don't remember what they read last summer, let alone 3 summers ago. But and therefore it's sort of forcing the student to find meaning in something that maybe there was no meaning in. It was maybe an assigned reading or something. But again, I would argue any book that's been of meaning to you over the last few years, you could potentially argue, as long as it wasn't an assigned reading for an English class, you could potentially say you read during that period of transition from middle school to high school, in which case you could sort of change the course of events in your life a little bit and sort of use artistic license to plant the timing at a slightly different time than maybe it really occurred if there was a true impactful book. Now, the real students who are going to have the most hard time with this is, I would assume, a significant minority, at least, of University of Georgia applicants who don't read. I mean, I don't mean that as an insult, but a lot of students these days don't read books. So I hope that you, if you are applying to University of Georgia, have in fact read a book from start to finish at some point over the last 4 years, and then we can maybe make the argument that you read it during the period of transition from middle school to high school. But there are students who even have great grades, but of course many more who don't have great grades, who have never read a book, and the school they go to have never required them to read a book, and they're on TikTok all day. So for those students are going to probably have to jump through a few more hoops to make this essay work. They may go to ChatGTP or whatever they call that, and create a fake story altogether, which brings to mind the idea that these questions about sort of idiosyncratic moments in students' life, especially ones from over 3 years ago, may increasingly be worthless in an age when students can create out of whole cloth whole stories that are not real so quickly, so easily, and many students who have never picked up a book and read it from start to finish are probably most likely to go that route. So University of Georgia, as well as all colleges and institutions, really have to think long and hard about asking questions that are as personal as possible, but also applicable to the actual situation the students find themselves in as possible, i.e., why do you want to go to our school? What about our school resonates with you? Why are you a good fit for our school? Why are we a good fit for you? Those would probably be the hardest ones for students to actually, create fake responses to, or have to feel like they're making meaning out of something that isn't meaningful to them. Because most students, when they're applying to colleges, are in the zone of thinking, I'm applying to this college because I want X, Y, or Z out of this college. They're not necessarily thinking about a book that they read the summer after 8th grade. But that's a story for another time and another day. Hopefully this video has helped you better conceptualize how you want to tackle the University of Georgia essay prompt for the 2023-2024 admissions cycle. My name is Craig Meister. I am also known as the College Meister. You can go to my website, collegemeister.com, if you want to learn about how to work with me one-on-one in support of you through your college application process, whether you need help rounding out your college list and you want advice on how to put some more schools on that list that you'll be a good fit at, or maybe you want help on your extracurricular resume for some of your college applications, or you want essay guidance and editing and review feedback. All of the above I provide. So go to collegemeister.com for that if you want to work with me one-on-one. If you just want more free advice like this video has provided, both specific and general, definitely subscribe to this channel, because whenever I have free time, I try to pop out some videos. And I've been doing this for the last few years when I have some spare time. So go through my back catalog at youtube.com/collegemeister. And as always, for free articles about the college admissions process, I also recommend the College Information News and Notes website that I publish, which is known as admissions.blog. You can find it at admissions.blog anytime you have an internet connection. Until next time, stay safe and stay well. And keep enjoying these very fun, interesting, that would be the word, right? That's the correct word that gives you no insight into what I really feel, but interesting supplemental essay questions that some of these colleges ask of 17 and 18-year-olds. We'll do some more whenever we have some time. Until next time, see you soon.